In this segment, we are going to talk about language and literacy. Our entire classroom should be full of literacy activities. This includes word walls. This might include children singing, dancing, playing games, centers. There's so many things that you can do with literacy and language. But today I'm going to talk about a few things that I do in my classroom. To start out, you want to remember that you have to find your learning standard, your state or your early learning standard, and make sure that your learning objective covers your standard, right? You want to use developmentally appropriate practices that differentiate for all of your students. The first thing I'm going to talk about is where children start before they even start learning to read, right? It's environmental print. I'm going to show you several books that were handmade that are from my classroom that we used to learn about different things that were in our community. So, for example, we might be doing sight words, and each student could bring their favorite place to eat. So, for example, this says Katie had Pizza Hut for lunch. So, they can recognize these different symbols because it is in their environment. They can recognize that that says Coca-Cola. So, this is just one type of book that you can make for your classroom. This is a candy, and then Swiss Miss for hot chocolate. Another one that I had made was a book that looked like this. And it says, Old Mother Hubbard went to her cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. But when she got there, the cupboard was bare and the poor dog had to eat. And do you think the students could recognize what that cereal was? Yes, it's Captain Crunch. So this is what environmental print is. You can also simply just put it together like this, and students can go through and read that. They should be able to read the signs. Now, I did have to learn very early on that students don't know signs that aren't in their community. So you have to make sure that you are using signs that are in the community and things that they have seen at the grocery store and have them bring their favorite things. You can also just do it as simply as this at Halloween time and just put candy sacks together. So there's so many ways to do this. This one, again, our sight word was likes. So Billy likes macaroni and cheese. Maria likes Oreos. So that is environmental print. So I love children's literature. I read to my students at least twice a day, and a lot of things that I did, I used puppets with. Puppets are some of my favorite ways to get students engaged. I had a puppetry in my classroom, and my students could also use puppets that were in the Student Literacy Center. And it's so fun to see how students would take the puppets that I used and also use those in the Literacy Center. So if we were doing a book about alligators, we would then use the alligator. If we were doing a book about turtles, we could actually have them make their own puppet, right? Out of two little plates and then a little sock. Then they can reenact. They can talk about the story, which is oral language, more literacy. They can stand up. Another thing that I like to do in my classroom every single day was show and tell. Show and tell was important for oral language. So we did that. We sang every single day. Something else that I like to do is make and take books. So here's a baggy book. These are just things to start out. They could do bus. They could sound it out. They could write it on there. The next one would be pumpkin. These can go in the bathtub, and they can be bathtub baggy books. And so you explain these to the parents too. So all of these books can be used for different types of things, different types of writing. The students can express themselves. They can tell stories. Another one that I like to do is called Classroom Friends. So when you open it up, it gives a little poem about the person in your class, and then the students try to guess it, and then they open it up and you put the little picture here. Another thing that I like to do is do a take-home bag, and they can be anything. They can be math, they can be science. But for a literacy bag, I would get some of the students' favorite types of character backpacks, and I might put books in there. I might put different CDs for them to sing at home. I might do a literacy make and take activity that the parents can do that they can bring back. I might send home a little disposable camera and put it in their backpack and have them walk around and find everything in their house that starts with the letter T. So there's so many different things. There's ways that you can do it now that the parents could film their child and send it to you, and then you could show the class as you do your show and tell or something like that. So there are so many different ways to incorporate language and literacy. You can use a dictionary, pull out one of those hard dictionaries and get it out and show students how you look up words and how you form sentences. And the entire time that you are speaking, the entire time that you are sharing with students, you're modeling how to speak. You're using vocabulary. Students want to know these things. Students are interested. They love to talk. They love to sing. They love to dance. So put that as part of your curriculum and you won't regret it.